we're talking about our three postures. We've got our long range posture, which means that we're going to be expanding from the legs, expanding from the chest, and also sometimes we're lifting from the crown of the head, especially for turning. We have our mid-range posture. Head is slightly down, right? We're relaxed in the chest. We're moving primarily from the front of the legs and the ankles and the calves, that kind of pedaling type of motion. We have our short range posture, where we're using primarily our stomach, back, inside of the legs, and any kind of striking is typically low line on that one, but you're going to find that you're going to be using a lot of controlling arts from that short range style motion. This video is about, I kind of call it staying in your lane, because it's really important not to mix these postures together, and that's where you're going to find that most mistakes are going to happen. So most mistakes are going to happen, for example, if we're using, let's say we've got a strike that's coming in, and I want to use this long range posture, but if I try pedaling from here, it's not going to work, because he's going to be able to blast right through that posture. So if we find ourselves wanting to do this pedaling style posture, let's go to strike here, and I'm using this long range posture, heads up, chest is out, everything is expanding, but now I want to do pedaling. What I need to do is I need to transition into a different posture. So if he starts to move here, now I can move into this pedaling, where we can see now head is slightly down, and the base is moving from the pedaling motion. If from here I want to move into a short range, if I just try to use my stomach muscles from here, it's not going to connect, because I'm not in the posture. But if I go to here, now that's going to compress into his lower back. Right. So this is really important to make sure that we're not mixing these up. And there's a lot of power in these transitions as well. Okay. You see, this can reset. What I want to reset, if it starts to move again. It's also keep in mind with these long, medium, and short range postures, does not necessarily mean how far do I have to be away from him. This is a mode of movement, not necessarily a distance of movement. So remember, words are a difficult means of communication. So we're using sometimes the wrong words or stuff, just like when we use the word uke, it doesn't really mean block, right? Sometimes we're trying to communicate something that's difficult. So if my feet are close together, I can still be in this long range posture, as long as I'm meeting the requirements. I'm expanding, and lifting. My feet can be here. If he starts to move again, we can be in the mid range. If he starts to move again, here's the short. Back to a long. Right? So you can really see. I might be in this long range posture. I might be slightly farther away from me. That's cool. If he starts to move now, we can really start to play with this. This is going to make a big difference in performance of kata as well. So you can really start to play with these notions within kata. You're going to notice that most of the basic kata will be done in primarily that longer range posture, because that's where our basics are. But if then you start doing something like Nekabudo Nina, right? We start playing with this form, you notice that this will lend itself well to this expanding posture. But then as soon as we come in here, now, if we stay like this, it's not going to feel right. So we need to change to our mid-range posture when we're dealing with here, back to the long. So you can start to really work on changing between these postures at a drop of a hat. And that's the real magic to this. And again, it's not nothing that we haven't done before, it's just a different way of thinking about it. The most important thing is to make sure that if your head is up, we're meeting these criteria. We're expanding from the chest, we're expanding from the legs. If our head is slightly down, we need to meet the criteria that we are moving from the thighs. If we're looking down, we need to make sure we're meeting that criteria of using the stomach, inner thighs, and back. If you try to mix any of those up, you're gonna find that it's not gonna be very effective. And then you're gonna be working way too hard to make stuff work. And this is some of the ideas of what we call it staying in your lane. It's okay to change postures, but when you change it and stay there. Thank you.